your prayers and your thoughts about us while we were gone. I tried to keep you updated. If you're on social media, on Facebook, I've tried to post pictures each and every day. But this morning, we're using this service, this time, to just share some testimonies from our trip. And I'm going to call Nat up to the service, or up to the platform at this time. And I know, sorry. Yay! Look, one person loves you. So I'm going to turn this over to him, and he's going to lead us this morning, and then we'll give you some testimonies and some other things.
Thought you were going to talk more. No. Okay. That's good. Well, I think we're happy to be back. Most of us. Most wanted to stay a few days. Most wanted a few others to stay a few more days. But I had to bring her back. So. She knows I'm kidding.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Right. Okay, make sure. No, we had a wonderful trip. We had a great group of people that went with us. We've had some from other churches. We had some from North Florida, from Georgia. So that's why if you notice on our sleeves, it'll say Florida, Georgia, not Florida, Georgia Line music, but you know the country stuff. But we put a good group together, and we had a phenomenal trip. We got things done. We got things accomplished. We worked with kids. Kids worked us, and it was really good. And so even though many were happy and excited, I think they're feeling it, and they're a little on the tired side. But overall, everything that happened was enough to keep us rejuvenated to be excited for what's going on next year. So before we get started with our testimonies, we got a little video that we want to play for you. If the video turns out good, let me just say, if the video turns out good, I did it. If it didn't work out, it's AI, okay? Or it was, I think, something Julie and Ken tried to put together if it didn't work out. So I've not picked on y'all the whole trip, okay? So it's, no, but if you would, watch the screen and then we'll continue. We'll get the rest of the team members to come up, all of those that are in the red shirts. Cliff, you got a red shirt on, but hold back. I know you want to come up here really bad, so hold tight there, buddy. So this is your team. Even though some may be from different areas, they're still part of the family. Some we've known for many years, and so there may be a new face up here, but this is your team. These are the guys that you supported to be boots on the ground. So what we're going to do now is Suzanne doesn't like to talk. Ken's not wanting to talk. Trish don't like to talk. So we're going to start with Suzanne, because the thing is, when Suzanne leaves, nobody will ever see her again until next year. So that'll make you feel much better. So, but what we'd like for you guys, look, take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Don't do a sermon, because if everybody does a sermon, we'll be here till 4 o'clock. So, but if you would share with everyone what happened with you, what the trip meant to you.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne. I used to live here, and then I moved to Georgia, but I found out that Nat and Wendy was going on the trip, and I love mission trips, so off I went. And the trip was awesome. Oh, my goodness. The kids were amazing. The staff there, they treat us so well, and they cook so good. And the team behind me was amazing. Everyone worked together. None of us got sick, praise God. And it was just an amazing trip.
That was really short, so now I wasn't quite ready yet.
All right, it was amazing. It always is. If you've never been out of the country, you've never been to a third world country, you have to go, because it makes you appreciate what you have. Two things that really stood out to me. You saw the picture, it said Freedom House. Freedom House is a place where girls can come, women can come, and they can be encouraged, and they've gone through problems, they've gone through a lot of stuff, and they can come there for in a group, and they take care of them, they help them. Right now they're doing it on the weekend, so they come and they get a session, and they just teach them that they are beautiful in God's sight. No matter what they've been through, God loves them, and God will protect them and take care of them, you know. But the lady that's running it right now, Novia, she just really, it was the first thing we really did, right? And she had me just bawling. I was just bawling as she's speaking. And she said, and she talked a little bit about her childhood. She didn't go into deep, anything deep about what she went through. But what I got from that is, first of all, I mean, she came out of it. She loves the Lord, and she's dedicated now to helping girls that have been in places where she's been. You know, every one of us has a story, and her story, was rough, but God has turned it, and she uses her story now to help others have a better story, and it really touched me. It's amazing. She's, devoted her life to that now, and just, the sacrifice and everything that she makes to help other girls and other women that have gone through things to, see the beauty that they are, that God's made them beautiful, and God has a purpose for their life. That was the first thing. Second thing was, well, it's just, there's so much, it's hard to put it into little words, but, when the kids were amazing, you say, hola, and they come up and they, hola, and they hug you, and they're so loving, and, our kids here have so much, but just the beauty of the children there who don't have much, but they have such love and joy and things like that. The second thing that really stood out to me was, and I told Pastor Wendy this on one of the bus rides, I don't remember which, but we had been to see children or a family, I can't really remember which, but the thought was like, why me? Why me? Why was I chosen to live here? Why was I born here? Why me? And they are born in such poverty, and they don't have a lot, Why do I have so much compared to them? But, not that I want to be in that situation, but I have so much to be thankful for, and they don't have a lot to be thankful for. But when you're talking to a mother who has 10 babies and lives a rough life that we visited, she said, I trust in God. That's what I do. I have to trust in God. She told us that, for her baby. She doesn't know where her next meal is going to come from. And she's got 10 children, that some of them go to school, but she had 4 little ones, baby to like 3 years old, there with her that day. And she can't go out and work with all the babies, But anyway, it's just, I guess the Lord I was thinking about it when we were worshiping, and I thank the Lord for what I have. But, if I can trust the Lord and I can be grateful and love Him in my circumstance, how beautiful is it that someone that has nothing can still say, I trust in you, Lord. I love you, Lord. Even though I have nothing, you're my everything, And that's what stood out to me. I'm grateful for what I have. But it made me see what they have. Imagine when they meet Jesus face to face and they've trusted Him for everything. How beautiful is that? That's what I wanted to say today. Thank you.
Well, I think we can all go sit down. She used up my minutes, so. Yeah. How do you go to a place like that and come back the same? It's difficult. But they do need prayer. Like Randy does so much. He's got so many hats, right? To be able to manage, all these teams, and he did back-to-back teams this year, and then he's got a life, he's got a home, he's got a wife, he's got kids here, but he gives there. It's a call. I think that's what you have to look at is you get out of what is your call? What has God called you to do? And if you have the same passion that He has, the whole world will be fixed. I really believe that. But we go there and, we give and we do, and we don't see everything, but you make a spiritual connection. The Bible talks about bearing witness with each other. And Randy has a really, really good team. They all love God. They all got their own stories. They're funny. Chino is our favorite guy, right? So, it's hard to leave there, and then, but it's like you leave a piece there. And, so it makes you pray. It makes you think about it. I don't know why I'm crying. But I'm doing this for Nat. Okay. You don't have to worry about it. You ain't got to do it, right? So, but when they need our prayer. They need our money. When you go there and I ride, first thing you do is you see trash all over Honduras, right? It's a spiritual thing that's going on. There's something deep that's going on that we don't understand, right? So everybody, this whole church could go and put a little dent in it, and I think it would be great for the whole church to go. You'd have to need some extra help, but it would be great to get the whole. The more people go, the more of an impact that you'll see, and you can put something in there, and it's giving back to the kingdom. When you go there. I know that we bless God's heart because, His Bible talks about, the blessed, blessing those people who can't do stuff for themselves. He says when Randy talked about that, when you're in prison, you fed me. When you was homeless, you took me in. So I think that what I get out of it is just that it puts you back in check. Okay, it does put you back in check, and it says, okay, this is where I got to get, but. Pray for Honduras. Pray for Randy because he's got a really big heart, and and he's got a lot of hats, and he's still got a family here. So, and give money back to give to that ministry because he uses it, and it ain't like he's blowing it away. Them people work hard. They work really, really hard there all the time. So, that's all I got to say. I'm leaving it alone.
Hi, my name is Shelley, and all of you, step by step, has stole some of my testimony, but I'm gonna add to that. I was reminded in Matthew 28, where it says, "Go into the world and preach the gospel." And in the beginning of the year, I was reading through the book of Matthew, and when I came to that, I'm like, "What does that really mean, Lord?" To preach the gospel all into the world. Because me, individually, can I really do that? No, I cannot. And Jesus, when he was given that great command, when he died and resurrected and came to the disciples, he was sharing with them that I have to go back myself, God, to the Father, but I'm going to give you this command to his disciples to go into the world and preach the gospel, the good news, which was his resurrection and the nature of Christ. So I said, Lord, what does that look like? So he knew they were going to be scattered and they were going to preach the gospel. So in the beginning of the year, I had a burning desire to go on a missions trip. It was just kind of planted in there. And I know we all have a mission field wherever we go, right? Like when we go to our work, if we're retired and we go to the grocery store, wherever we are going, we are preaching the gospel by the way that we act, the way we conduct ourselves, the way that we speak to people. Sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes God gives us a word to go to that person. That one person needed that word at that specific time to be able to comfort them, and maybe they were at the end of their life to where you just gave them that one word. So preaching the gospel is very broad. Yes, it is about the death and the resurrection, but it's his nature too. So when I was given the opportunity, when Wendy asked me to be part of her team to go to Honduras, I immediately said yes, because I did know in the beginning of the year, God planted that seed in my soul to go. But during that time, from the time I said yes to go, there was some there was a little bit of setback to where I was kind of sabotaging it. I was going through some personal things. I didn't want to leave my comfort zone. Hey, Lord, I do serve in missions, behind the chair where I work and wherever I go. But God was stretching me even further beyond my testimony personally that I've had the last 5 years. But he said, Shelley, did you not say that you gave yourself away so I can use you? Will you let me use you, whatever that may look like? I want you to go because I have something for you to see beyond what America sees in the gospel, because I am not just here. I am all over the world. And as I came in and saw Venezuela and Togo and Turkey and all these places, Jesus is everywhere. And we might not all be able to go to the mission field. And I encourage each and every one of you, if you can go, I encourage you to go to see through the eyes of Jesus. But when I got there and we got off the plane, and Randy, oh, what a wonderful, amazing man that just planted that seed there. But while we were on the bus going to the hotel, and as I saw in that bus, all the way it took about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get to the hotel, the shacks, the poverty, the trash, the women outside with so many children, flushed to the road. I'm talking about here's their little shack, and here is the road, and the kids are right there, and I'm just looking, and I began to weep. And I turned my face. I didn't want nobody to see me because the ugly cry was coming. Like, the ugly cry was going to cry, and I was going to, cry to where I was, grieving. I was grieving. But then Jesus said to me, Shelley, do you see what I see? I said, yeah. He goes, that's my compassion. I am compassion. I'm not the God of compassion or the God of love. I am compassion. And I'm opening your eyes to see what I see. So I want you to take that back to America. But right now, I want you to see what I see. And by showing the gospel, sharing the gospel, it's going to be a different message. It's going to love them. And Jesus also said in Matthew 19, he also said that let these little children come unto me. Don't push them away. Let them come unto me, because that is such the kingdom of God. These little children that you are seeing, yes, they're mine, but that's how my kingdom is, and you're my child. Stay as a child, but grow in my maturity and my love and go out. So when we came and we ministered, and we went and we ministered at the Freedom House, which was amazing. I was weeping the entire time, just trying to hold it in of just the seed and what God is doing there, what Randy has planted. And then we went to the children's ark there. What seed Randy, if you've never ever met him, that was my first time, that we were able to be a part of. Like I was saying, we can't all go to the mission field, but we do know that if we are able to go, and I was able to see Randy and what he has done there. See, I only got to see what he has done the last maybe 20, 25 years there. I got to see all the wonderful hard work that he has done, but by his testimony of answering the call of saying yes, that seed that Randy answered for the children's ark, that was watered, and the harvest is coming in, and many people around the world and around here in America are coming to serve and to love and to be a part of that mission, because his yes also became our yes, that as the body of Christ, we're all able to minister to what God wanted us to do there with the Honduras people. And we were there to serve and to love, but you know what? They were serving us. These children would run up to us and love on us and pour into us. I'm like, Lord, I'm here to serve them, but they're ministering to me. So I just want to say my heart was wrecked. It was wrecked in a way of seeing the nature of Christ in a different country. And coming back to America, I don't want to ever lose that. Not that it's not okay to have nice things, but not to forget the less fortunate, because that's where Jesus' heart is. And may we pour that out here in Lakeland, wherever we go. May we pour out the love and the compassion of Jesus Christ. So I am so honored to be part of this team, to go and to serve and to love and to be, again, transformed and renewed constantly and run the race of endurance until that day we all meet with him. God bless.
Um, I'm not really good with words out loud, but yeah, it was. If you can't laugh at yourself, then who can you laugh at, right? But they definitely have. Oh, sorry. They definitely helped me out on the words. Like the kids were teaching me how to say their name in Spanish, and it was a blast. I didn't never get any of it right, but it was fun. And then I learned how to say Josias, and then Novia, and then I was calling. What's his name? I was calling him Gino anyway. His name is Chino. I was calling him Gino the whole time. He smiled. He didn't care. But yeah, there was a lot there. There's the orphanage just took my heart away. They were just so loving, and just mostly all the kids there, they just wanted a hug. They just wanted to be loved, and they didn't care. They hugged you. They blessed me a lot. The Freedom House is another story. That one really broke me. But sorry. I've seen what Novia has done, and I can relate to Freedom House in many, many levels, in many, many, many ways. And the girls there, they were so shy about, because they were making us Christmas ornaments, and they were so worried that we wouldn't like it because they were making it for us. And the guys went down first, and they served them little snacks and stuff, and the guys were nervous, I know, and I know the girls were kind of standoffish, but yet they all came up and give the guys hugs and give them their little ornaments. And then we went down and we did our little skit, which was out of the blue because we didn't know any of it. That was definitely laughable, and we did good though. We did really good. But but the kids there, it's just an awesome place to be. And everybody should have an opportunity to go. Randy has done a lot. This is my second trip, and it just blows me away every time that I go.
Well, I'm not a speaker, so this is going to be short. Some of these should have been a preacher. But anyway, we had a good time. This was my first time down there doing a trip like this, and I will do more, but it was just, I didn't know what to expect. But you run into people and the children, and then Randy had started the Kids Ark, and then he also started a new program that this was the first time any of us saw, correct? Yeah, and it was the young girls, like she was talking about, that have been abused or whatever, and he's doing a very good job there. The Lord has blessed him in that way. So, I just felt privileged to be able to go there and soak it all in. Like I said, my first time, so I didn't know what to expect. So, but I was glad that I went.
All right, this was my first time going to Honduras, and what got me was going to the homes, delivering the food to the families that didn't have anything, and they have crazy drivers.
That's good, Tracy.
My second time, her first. But I seen the side of my wife that was like out the front door. She barrels her way to get her hand on a girl to pray over her. I've never seen Tracy do that. My heart is still there, and so is hers. We got it too good. No picture, no testimony, nothing that I can say or try to convince you of what we have witnessed or a picture can give you the smell, the feeling, the atmosphere. At the Freedom House, me and Stephen sensed something there as they were ministering to us about what the Freedom House is all about. A dog starts barking in the background, and that's the enemy trying to distract. Stephen picked up on it, and so did I. We talked about it, and maybe others did. This is the oppression there and everywhere, even here. This country here has spread out the gospel of Jesus Christ more than any other country in all time. Woe unto us. Because we have got away from Christ's centrality. It's about Christ. The first house that we went to was a block home, tin roof, dark inside. The walls looked like they had used motor oil all over them. It looked terrible. No furniture, a bed here and a bed through a window over there or through a door. We went to the last one, and I happened to look down at a girl as Tracy was praying for her, and she had so many lice in her hair, they were running over one another. Come on. If you see a need and you can't have compassion over that, I'm talking to myself, I'm not talking to any of y'all. How can the love of God be in us? The poor we'll always have with us, but Christ said you won't always have him. I'm going to go to this right here because I asked the Lord to give me what to say, and this is important. It's all important. We listened to Randy's testimony the first when we got to the camp. We was in a replica of the tomb that Christ was supposed to be buried in, and we're all in there talking. And Randy, I've never heard his testimony about what God laid on his heart about where we were at. And as he began to unfold his testimony, even he put a time limit on God, down to the last second. It's a long story. I'm not going to go into that. But as he was telling the story and he got to the end of it, he had fell, hurt himself, blood here, blood, he was bleeding, sitting on the side of a rock, looking over the mountain saying, God, you only got 10 seconds. 5 seconds. And about the 3-second moment, he heard a noise behind him. He turned around and looked behind him, and it was a man toting a load. And he just asked him a question, why are you here? Well, Randy gave his story, and I'm not going to go into that. But as I was listening to this story, this is what hit me through God laid on my heart. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man what God has prepared for us. But he reveals it through his Spirit. Randy's eye didn't see. He only got a glimmer. His ear only got a glimmer. And he was ready to give up. Are any of us ready to give up for the gospel of Jesus Christ? My sister right here, and by the way, I can't believe that you were so short. and it's like, you okay? Yeah. Tracy and I talk when we come back. I hope God sends us back down there for the rest of our life. And I know the world itself is that bad or worse. But as my sister said, when you drive down the road and you look at what is going on and you see the children don't know any better. They've never seen what we've got. When's the last time you thanked God for taking a shower and having warm water and being able to rinse your mouth out in the shower? When's the last time you thanked God that you was able to sit down every day for a meal? As my brother was praying this morning, God, thank you for getting up this morning and loving on you. When's the last time we give honor and praise unto him? And I'm not trying to bring a guilt trip or any condemnation. I'm speaking to myself. Because no matter how much we practice the presence of God, there's always room for more. With that, I'm going to leave it alone.
So there you have it. There's your team. Y'all can sit down or find your seat, or if you want to preach more, I'll turn it over to you. So one neat thing that I did see was we were at the orphanage, and I was just kind of standing back like I normally do, and I'm watching, and I see Wendy over there, and it's a little girl. She's all hooked up around her and stuff, and I was watching, and I didn't see her like, let's go play, or she just stood there. The next thing you know, there come another one on this side, and come. They were sisters, right? They were little sisters, cute as, oh man, they were just cute as they could be. And so I'm watching, I'm stepping back, and she was finally able to get away from them after playing with them for a long time. You have to know me, and I don't mean this absolutely as it sounds, but I was like, so you want them? And her remark was like, yeah, no, what? We can't do that. They won't allow us to, but it was kind of a humorous moment. But they do, man. Those little ones will grab you and tug you. And there was, the men were out working. We were involved, doing the rebuild of the ark, and that was there. And I go up to see what the ladies were doing, with the kids and the VBS, and it was all over. It was all over, and all the kids are leaving. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Everything's going good. We're starting to chill out. And here come a little girl, come up and hit me, and she goes, what do they say when they say goodbye? Other than goodbye, adios, adios. I'm just like, wow, I wasn't even around, for the whole program or whatever, but yeah, they're just want our attention. They want somebody to love them, and and all that kind of stuff. But one thing I'd like to say to the team members, y'all cried, and I didn't, so y'all made fun of me. Y'all made fun of me when I tried to give a devotion, and I say I tried. I got through it, but Shelley, I did the ugly cry. I know, it's all good. But so with that, thank you to the team members. Thank you, church, for allowing us to go, and thank you for being a part in our fundraisers and stuff, because you helped make it happen. So thank you.
I know y'all are looking at me like, she's not going to preach now, is she? No, I'm not. But I do want to share something with you. This was we've kind of lost track. It was either our 10th or our 11th trip down there. I don't know which one. But all that to say, we've been down there quite a few times, and we've seen a lot. We've experienced a lot. But every trip, there's something or a few things that stick out to you, that tug at your heart. Those two little girls were one of them. Found out that it's an orphanage there, but it's not like an orphanage here. Some of those kids come there because they're malnourished, and they come to kind of rehabilitate them and send them back home. Some of them, the parents just are unable to care for them. Those two little girls found out that there were 4 children there altogether, and the mom just left, which is very common there. And the father has to work. He can't take care of them. And so he sent them to the orphanage. And once a month, they have parent day. And it happened to be that day that we were there. So the father was there. And yet those two little girls just needs a mother's love. I mean, they ran up to me as soon as we got there. And I played with them, and I tried to get them to talk and tell me their name, and the one little girl was, but they were feisty, but they were so cute. And so that stuck out to me. Another thing that stuck out to me was when we went to feed, they pre-plan this for us. They pick out a community that we go to, and certain homes in that community that they know that are in desperate need of food. And they don't have refrigerators or anything. And so whatever we bring them, especially if it's meat, they cook that day because they can't save it. And the last home that we went into, as we were walking, we walked down these dirt roads to these homes, and they're waiting on us. And it was a family that had a little baby. They had other children too, but they had a little baby, looked brand new, maybe a month old at the most, was in a little carrier. You saw the picture, and the baby was not well. They said had like asthma, breathing problems, and on the way there, Nat's cousin, he's not here today, but he went with us. He's from Jacksonville. And the Lord just kind of spoke to me and said, Mike needs to pray for this next family. And I didn't know why. So we get there, we see this little baby. We find out that he's sick, and they don't have the $2 to take him to the doctors. And then we found out that the shack, literal shack that they were living in, was rented, and it was $15 a month, and they had not paid it in 3 months. Now, all that to say, we did make things right and catch them up on that and make sure they took the baby to the doctor. But I turned around and I looked at Mike and I said, "You're supposed to pray at this one." And the look on his face, and Mike is a man of God. I mean, he will preach the house down to you. But he looked at me like a deer in headlights, like I had asked him to do something really outlandish. And I just kind of stood there, and he didn't say anything. And he just paused a moment. Finally, he went over and he prayed for the baby, and we all did, and we finished. And as we were leaving, or that evening, once we got back to the hotel, he went on to tell me, I responded that way because God had already spoken to me that I was supposed to pray for this baby. And I just said, if I get the opportunity. He wasn't going to ask. And so it just was a neat inner, exchange there that the Lord spoke to both of us. And we're just believing that the baby was healed and whole. What about Freedom House? Oh, Freedom House is for girls who have been abused. Sexual abuse is very, very, very common there. So they've been abused or they've been trafficked, and they bring them in. If it's a safety issue and they need to get them, to safety, they will house them there for a short period of time. But for right now, they just bring them in on weekends, groups of girls, and they minister to them and they teach them, their identity in Christ and who they are and that they're beautiful, and help them through the abuse. It's kind of like a counseling time for them too. So does that kind of explain? Huh? And it's a new, well, the location of where it's at right now is a new place for them. They've been doing it about 5 years, but that is an area that they really need support. And so I'd like to talk to the women of the church and see if we could do something for Freedom House. And that's above and beyond Kids Ark, that they bring kids in. We had kids, usually it's 3 different days. This time it was 2 days, and they're different kids from different communities. And one group of those kids had waited a year to come. A whole year. And they came, I was told that they were from a village that it was very dangerous to send a bus up there and get those kids and bring them in. And this is like going to Disney World for them. They just get to play and have fun and do crafts, and we feed them lunch, and then we do a service afterwards about Jesus with them, and they get gifts. And, it's an amazing day for them in a beautiful setting. But the last thing that I want to say to you, the one thing that really ministered to me this time, and I'm trying to make it short, there's just so much. Somebody said that too. There's just so much to tell. Because we've been down there so many times, we've watched things evolve and change. We've watched the camp evolve and change. The first team that we took down there, we built their bathrooms. They had outhouses first, and we built the first set of bathrooms there. And to see what it is now is just amazing. But as the years have evolved, Randy has a team there on the ground that he pays them to work the camp every day. And I mean, they might get $15 a day. That's good pay for there. I think they started off at like $10 a day. So Randy has a few vehicles there, but sometimes the teams get so large that he has to rent other vehicles to bus us in. And so for the last number of years, he rents buses. They're kind of like the short buses here, I guess you could say, and from a company. And the driver, we met, his name is Walter, and we met Walter a number of trips ago. And so every time we go back, Randy really likes Walter, so he requests that Walter be the driver. We only needed one bus, and so last time it was 2 buses. We had a second driver too. But he just hired a bus from this company. Walter was not a believer. And we heard Walter's story years ago, and his wife left him, took his children, and went to Spain. And he didn't know where they were. He hadn't seen his children, so it just kind of broke our heart when we first met Walter. And we just kind of started to build a little bit of relationship. And Walter they serve you. I mean, they serve you like no one in the States will ever serve you. They will bend over backwards to do whatever they can for you. And they drive the bus. They stay there all day. They eat with us. They drive. I mean, so they work from early morning until late at night until we get back to the hotel. So I found out the last time that we went, which was 3 years ago, that Walter has moved on and had a girlfriend who is now his wife. And so Walter's, doing better. And Randy told me that since then that he has become a believer. So Randy, he brings these people in and he really ministers to them in every area of life. And so Jaritza, who is not here today, some of you know Jaritza, some of you don't. We met Jaritza. She's Puerto Rican. She came to Southeastern. We met her years ago. She's our adopted daughter. She's always our translator, and she has spent months down there over the years. And so she's always our interpreter, and she always sits up front with the driver, and she's, they talk back and forth, and they laugh, and it's just a great time. So she gets off the bus one day, and she tells me, I said, what were you and Walter talking about? I can catch some words here and there, but she was telling me that, he's really growing in the Lord. And I said, that's what Randy said. I'm so happy to hear that. And she said, no, you don't understand. Now it's my turn to cry. She said, Walter watches your Monday morning videos. And I just looked. I knew we were friends on Facebook, but I was like, what? And she said, he gets 2 phones so he can listen on one and do Google Translate on the other. And it has meant so much to him, and it encourages him, and it touches his heart. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Walter in Honduras, who has been our driver, has watched, and Josias, who is the camp director, he said the same thing. He's starting to learn English. And he's like, Wendy, I watch your videos on lunes, on Mondays, and it's like, I don't think, we do things here and just don't think it makes a difference at all. And yet the Lord reveals that what you do, every little thing that you do makes a difference. And so just what I want to leave you today, as we were there one of the days, Nat asked me to do a devotion. It was last minute, and the Lord just brought this story to my mind. And I'm not going to read it, I'm just going to share it with you. But it's about the road to Emmaus. And there were 2 of Jesus' followers. It was the day that Jesus resurrected. 2 of his followers were walking on the road to Emmaus, the city of Emmaus. And Jesus comes along and walks with them. And they didn't recognize him. They didn't know that it was Jesus. And they're talking to him, and they're like, do you know what has happened? Because Jesus said, what are you 2 talking about? And they said, you haven't heard? You didn't know what happened in the last 3 days with this man, Jesus? He was killed, hung on a cross. And they were just talking about this, and they didn't even recognize that it was him. And he just walked with them, and they finally came to Emmaus, and they stopped to eat, and Jesus acted like he was going to go on, and they were like, no, they really liked this man, and they're like, no, stay with us and eat with us. And so he did, and as they sat and they ate, Jesus opened their eyes to who he was. And they were amazed. And then he disappeared. And it just spoke to my heart that in America, we went to Honduras to look for Jesus. We knew, we were intentional every day. We were on mission. We were there to see and be the hands and feet of Jesus. We were looking for him. We were trying to recognize him in every situation. But in America, we don't do that. We just go about our business. It's about me. It's about what I want to do. I need to go get my nails done. I need to go to the grocery store. Fill in the blank. Me. And we come to church and we look for Jesus. But we don't look for Jesus out there. Shame on us. And that story just reminded me. He's with us all the time, and we don't recognize him. We don't recognize what he's doing and what he wants to do through us. And we need to be more intentional about that. It's real easy to come back from a missions trip and have that mindset, have that perspective. But we want to keep it, but it's hard to keep it the world just the world sucks it out of us. The world that we live in America, we just get back to the same old routine. And every time I say, Lord, please don't let this leave me. I want to have this mindset, and it's hard. But I think we all need to be intentional about that, whether you've been on the mission trip or you haven't. Where is Jesus? He's with you. Look for him, recognize him, be his hands and his feet.